Now, if you read the title and if you are thinking what the heck is going on, let me fill you in. The title says macOS on a PC almost. It says almost because we won't be installing the official macOS. I just wanted to make that clear. This is not an official macOS, but instead we will be talking about a Linux distribution that is aimed to look and feel like macOS. So if you guys are still confused, then just keep watching, you will understand eventually. So the first thing to note is this OS or this distribution is still in its beta phase, so it's not complete yet and there may be some bugs that we will face. But I've seen something weird things like sometimes in different machines it will behave differently. As for laptops it will do some bugs and for PCs it will do other bugs. But the moral of the story is that you will get some bugs. To avoid this, you can just go on Google and search how to fix it. There are fixes for them, but this is a good thing to note. The second thing is if you are thinking about daily driving this or installing this as your primary machine, I would not recommend this right now. I am not preventing you from installing and trying to use it as a main machine, but I would not recommend this. The primary reason being that this is still in beta and there may be some things that may not work as smoothly as you might think. But if you are willing to test it out and you are eager to know how this works and how this may impact the macOS feel of it, then feel free. If you find this very good for your daily driving, please let me know so I can know that it is good for daily driving. But personally, I don't think you should use it. But well, nah, enough discouraging you. I will encourage you to try it because it is a new distribution and it looks amazing. I am using this for some time and it looks great. The feel is also great, it is fast, it's almost like Ubuntu on a Mac look. And speaking of Ubuntu, it is based on Ubuntu, so the system is fairly stable and I didn't get that type of issues. And as for bugs, I didn't get any yet. Maybe I didn't try some stuff out, so please let me know what I can try to make this maybe have some hiccups. So the distribution we will be talking about today is called CutefishOS. Now the name is very cute. Okay, that was bad. So it's a, as the name implies, there are no fishes in it, so don't worry. But the OS is very cute. I told you, it looks like Mac OS. It's exactly like Mac OS. You will get the same look and feel on it. And even if your friends are unaware, you can even say to them that it is Mac OS. Like nobody's checking. So without further ado, let's see how we can set up and get into CutefishOS. So, getting started. What do we need to do to get started with CutefishOS? Now, with any other Linux distribution or anything in the world of internet, first you need to do is get the stuff. So, what we are gonna do is go to their official website, which they have. It's very nice. Go to their official website and download it from there. So, I'm going through Google, like the Google method. You can use the link in the description. Just click on this link and we should be there. Now in the first you will be greeted the home page. Now I usually don't go through this, but this time I am going blind like you guys. Like I don't know anything about this. I just heard about it, thought it was cool, so I am just installing it right now. So you will see a step-by-step process of what I am going through and how I am tackling some issues that come with it. I didn't face much of an issue with it, but there are some issues. So if we go to the feature tab or the feature option, whatever you like to call it, there are some key features that are listed here. Now with many distribution and many things that I have seen, it's mostly the common things that are highlighted. Like a powerful base system, it's saying it's on Ubuntu and Ubuntu is pretty stable. Although it has some features, but it is pretty stable. Then a beautiful design which we are looking at. Then we have Ubuntu software or the repository that we want to use it, control center, file manager, Cutefish desktop. Now Cutefish desktop is their own desktop environment. That's why it looks a lot like macOS and they are trying to fit it to their own software. Now these are two installers. The first one, which is here, is mostly used on Arch Linux, which I am not that much familiar with and I'm not unfamiliar with, but I mostly like the Ubiquity one because it reminds me of Ubuntu and how simple it is to install it. Now I will be going with this. If you know how to use the above one or if you prefer that one, you can go with it. You will get the same operating system with different setup. You will get the same operating system with different setup processes. Now the Megan torrent link is broken, so we need to go to SourceForge. I almost butchered it. So now you should have to wait 5 seconds and you should get it downloaded. So I have already downloaded it. It is downloaded, so I won't go through it again. But if you want to download it, you can pause the video right here and wait for it to download. Now the bootable USB. So I am using a method called Ventoy or the software called Ventoy because I am using constantly changing operating systems and installing Linux operating system on my PC. It's good to have something that I can just copy and paste into and just use it. So Ventoy does exactly that. I don't have to flash my pen drive over and over again. I can just flash it once and then just copy and paste every operating system I want to install in that space. So that's exactly what I am doing right here. I will copy this from here, then paste it onto the Ventoy file or the pen drive. Now I talked about this in a previous video or in a video. I will link it down below. You can watch it to know more about Ventoy. In this part, I will just remove my old distribution. It's something I did before and I showed it before and I explained it thoroughly. If you don't know what I'm doing, check that video out. I will just fast forward this because it's kind of boring. After all of that trouble, all we managed to do is remove the bootloader of my previous system. Now if I look dead inside in this mirror-like display, that's because I am almost dead inside because it was freaking late. I think it was like 2 a.m. or something and it was getting late and I was not having it. But anyway, as you can see here, it just directly booted into Windows, no other operating system to be seen here. Now let's move on. So this part is kinda interesting. Like, I already did this, so I won't explain it too much because it's a very simple thing. But in short, what I did here is extend my partition. Like, I had 43 gigabytes for my previous distribution, but I need some more because I saw that after using my previous one for like 2 or 3 months, it got pretty full. So I wanted to extend my partition for about 17 more gigabytes, or like total of 60 gigabytes in total I needed. So this is how you do that. You need a free space which you already have, and remember, the partition you are cutting it from needs to be on the same line as the unallocated space or free space, because if it's not in the same disk or the same line, it won't add to it. It will just create some random unallocated storage and you will have a pretty bad time. So I would recommend just cutting a small amount and checking if it adds to the storage or if it doesn't. So as you can see, because I have the storage in the same place here, it just cut to the storage in the right, or in the free space in that spot. Now you may notice it took a pretty long while. I didn't fast forward it because you need to know that it will depend on how fast your disk is, because the higher you want to shrink, the more time it will take, because it's like chopping off a part of your disk and leaving it to store something else. Now, after we are done with this, the next step is to install the OS. To do this, first we need to restart our PC and get into the boot menu. Now, if you don't know what your boot key is, you can just Google your motherboard name and it should show what your boot key is. In my case, it's F10, and as you can see, it's a very old BIOS. And I will select the pen drive. After I selected, you can see it said BT loading because I'm using Ventoy. And now the first thing that is selected is CutefishOS. Now once I hit enter, it should boot into it. For this step, I will go with the live environment because I can test it out if it works on my PC or not. Because if it doesn't work, then there's no point in making this video and testing it out. So as you can see here, the boot menu appeared, and this took a while. I just fast forwarded it. I don't know why this took this long, but it took a while. Then after it came, there was a little error message which I thoroughly ignored because I couldn't be bothered with it. Then after waiting for a while, I won't say while, after a very long time, it booted up. Now you may wonder why I just didn't cut this part out, because you need to get an idea of how much time you would be spending installing this. Now once you boot into the live environment, you should be greeted with a somewhat setup like thing. You can say it's a setup, and I just left everything as default, and this step also took a while. I don't know, probably because I'm using it in a live environment, but then the setup actually appears. Now we will set up this. I just hit continue on the default settings, and now here you can use additional software. I just left it however it was because I was like, if it doesn't cause any errors, I don't need to turn it off. And if you select this one, you will get installed. The update will be installed while you install the OS, but I won't do it because it takes a freaking long time. So I just left it as is, and now here comes the complicated part. Now in this part, you need to select how you want to install it. Now, I don't recommend the first two because it will chop into your windows and something like that. Just select the third one and manually set up the process. Now, you remember that 60 gigabytes we cut out in the beginning? So that will be handy now because we will be installing the cat cute features. Why am I confusing cute with cat? It's so odd. Anyway, so go to that space. First, we need to make the root point. Now, I won't be making any home directory or anything. I'll just make a root and the swap, and that's it. After you find the tree space, so now I'm finally done struggling finding the free space, and I finally found it. So after you select the free space, you need to create a new partition, which you can do from here. And in here, you directly go to mount point. Now this mount point, you need to select the slash for root and so on and so forth if you have other directories you want to include. Then I will type the space I want to assign as root or the space the distro will have for using. Since I said I won't be making any home or other directories, I don't need to worry about it. But if you are doing this, then just select a space that you are comfortable using. Now then we need the swap memory. Now if you don't know what a swap is, it's basically a piece of hard disk that you can use to process some RAM stuff in the background so your RAM doesn't struggle too much. So after I use the rest of the space I have as swap, I am now checking everything, which you should double check everything you have just done just in case you missed something. Because if you don't check it, you may run into errors, and this is a dual booting technique, so it may cause some serious issues. So make sure you are checking everything. Now we're gonna select the grub loader. So this is the bootloader that Linux uses. Now if you have multiple drives, select the drive that you want to install your grub loader in. Now when I hit install, now this is an interesting thing. So when I hit install now, I got this error. So what this is saying that I need an EFI partition for the grub loader to work properly, which I didn't see before because I never used it. It's my first time seeing this. I maybe found it in the Garuda Linux or something like that, but I didn't see it after that. So now what I'm doing is deleting the swap memory and cutting some stuff off of it, like 200 megabytes. It's recommended you use 150 to 350 megabytes for EFI. So to do that, I chopped off 200 megabytes off of it just to use as EFI storage. So now after you have done everything, give it a double check, check everything just to make sure everything is working. Now here, after you're done with everything, now you just need to hit install now. I am checking it over and over again just to make sure that nothing went wrong or I didn't miss anything. And as you see here, it's prompting to tell me which partitions will be formatted. So now this is normal because those are the partitions that will be formatted in order to install this distribution. So after you hit it, this takes a while. I don't know why this takes a while, but in my case it takes a while to go to the actual install process. So now it's just asking for my region. It should select where are you quite reliably, but if it doesn't, just select your region, then just hit next. Now you need to give all your information. Not by all the information I mean the name of the machine, then the password, and just hit next, and it should start installing. Now this is highly sped up. It's almost like 50x speed because this takes a lot of time. Like if you have a fast drive, it shouldn't take that long, but if you don't, then it will take some time. So now it's checking for everything, if it's all right and if everything is going smoothly. So this is weird. Like this says that it failed and grub install, So I was like, oh shit, now I have to do this all over again. I just was like really sad and like it was all a waste of time. I was thinking those things, but then I was like, well, let's see what happened. Like it couldn't be that bad. So I just restarted it, and if you don't know, after you install Linux, you need to like pull off your pen drive. And this is also interesting. This thing, here's my pen drive which I just pulled off of there, and now this got stuck. Like it was stuck here for a really long time. I got impatient and I was like, after seeing that grub install error, I was like, well, nothing is working. What's wrong? As you can see, it's sped up because I sat there for a really long time trying to figure out like what went wrong. So then I just hit my PC and use the restart button to just force restart. As you can see, I am sleeping as heck. So I was like, screw it, I will do anything. So after I did that, the first time it directly booted into Windows, which is a very good sign, because if your machine boots directly into Windows, that means your machine is still okay and the grub or the Linux distribution which you are trying to dual boot didn't corrupt anything. So then I just logged in, then I restarted again, and now I just manually selected the boot drive that I need to install my sorry, not install, I need to boot off of. So then I hit my boot key, then selected my hard disk, and to my surprise, after I did this, it prompted the grub loader. Now this is very ugly, I will change this very soon, and then just selected the CutefishOS. So after I did this, it took a while and I was starting to lose hope, but it eventually booted, and the pain was worth it. And I am still using it to this day, and nothing is going wrong. Everything is going smoothly and working fine. So I don't know what those issues were. If you know what those are, please let me know. Then I just signed in, and you will be greeted with the same setup process again. Now in this setup place, I took some different route. I took the dark theme because I seen the light one. Then just hit next, and now this took some time because it loads up like all the apps it has and everything you need in order to get started. So here you see, welcome to CutefishOS. Then just entered, and here we are. The OS is installed. There's some donation, everything is here. Seems everything is working fine. And now you have the installation for a CutefishOS. Now everything is working fine. As expected, nothing went wrong. I just had to manually select, like change my boot order in order to make this work, but everything is working now. So if you guys enjoyed this video, or if you would like to know more, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like, leave a comment letting me know what you think this OS is to you. If you like it, leave some love for the developers. See you guys in the next one.